It's Dukes and Bell, guys, and we know you do as well. It's a holiday weekend with Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our wonderful listeners. And folks, I always say, without you guys, there would be no us. So we give thanks for you guys, and we're being real. I mean, all you folks who invest and give us time every day and love the show and give us feedback, we really appreciate you guys. And thanks for making us the number one sports show in Atlanta and certainly one of the top shows in the country. With that said, Big O's here. Day-Day's here. Of course, Mike and I, and we're on today at 2. We're live from Flowery Branch. Last opportunity before the holiday weekend to talk with Ra and company. We will have a player or two. We'll see what happens there. Can we build on this win? And we're going to get to that because we take on the Jets. Jets aren't as bad as you might think. Statistically, they do have some areas where they are really good, but they haven't been able to put together wins. But, Mike, last night, College Football Playoff Committee, no changes with the top 5. Ole Miss gets, I don't want to say gets screwed, but right. Oregon's win allowed them to move up because it was USC, a ranked opponent. What'd you think about those rankings before we get to this weekend?
Yeah, is this a case of the Florida State 23 stuff all over again? Are they anticipating Ole Miss to not be that same team once Lane Kiffin finally makes it official he's going to LSU? I don't know about that one. Oregon did look impressive against USC, but I mean, I think they were a 10-point favorite in that game. Texas Tech is hanging in there, but yeah, everything else is static. I know that, Miami fans are still belly aching that they did beat Notre Dame head to head. We'll take it up with the committee. And Alabama still hanging in there at number 10 with the tiebreaker over Georgia to be in the SEC championship. So not much movement there. I mean, I guess, like I said, Ole Miss fans, just be ready to be disappointed, Carl, in more ways than one.
Day-Day, your thoughts, man? I mean, look, Georgia in the driver's seat, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. They're in control of their situation. What jumped out to me, though, is the Ole Miss situation. And here's why. Reading up on it, if he decides to leave Ole Miss, and apparently then he's not going to be able to coach the postseason. And with that being said, apparently the committee can take into consideration.
They can pull him. Yeah, they can pull him for that.
A significant loss of a coach or player. So
it happened to FSU when Jordan Travis went down, man.
Yeah, so I say all that to say, if you read between the lines, maybe Lane Kiffin ain't going nowhere because that's the ultimate screw. If you announce after the Egg Bowl that you're leaving, so not only are you losing your head coach, but now the CFP, where they view you, is going to be significantly impacted. So I don't know. Is he really going to go anywhere? Are they just building up all this drama for him to turn around and say, look, we built something great. I'm not going anywhere. But that's kind of the one thing that jumped out to me once you read through all of that. It's like, is he really going to do this to them?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, look, I think he's leaving too. I will be shocked, but I'll be pleasantly surprised if he stays because we just don't see that these days.
Not on his brand, though, Carl. That's not on his brand.
It's not.
I know it's been many years since the Tennessee to USC, but I think that, I think he's adios amigo.
Yeah, I do too. But if he stays, what a good moment for Ole Miss and. Here's the deal, too. I've heard people say, oh, do you want to live in Mississippi? You want to live in Florida? No disrespect. You've been to Baton Rouge? It's good on a Saturday night. 5 days a week? Not so much, okay? I'm just telling you. Like, these college towns, guys, and I've been to all of them, at the end of the day, you make enough money, your vacation home will be wherever you want it to be.
It's not going to be in Baton Rouge.
Correct. It's not like that's where they're living the entire time. So this whole notion, like, you want to be in Mississippi? $14 million a year, he can live wherever the hell he wants.
Yeah, he's not vacationing down there in Floribama down in Gulf Shores. Yeah.
But what's the best opportunity? And Day-Day, you bring up an excellent point. It really is interesting. And Mike, I will say this, for all that Florida State went through that year, just a few years ago, that's the precedent. And they totally got screwed. And if that was to happen to Ole Miss, man, there might be a revolt with the season they've had.
Right. But it's a TV show. I think, some college football fans, like FSU fans, still can't get, that program has never bounced back from that moment. And they lost the culture, and the team that quit for the Orange Bowl has just not been the same. But because everyone realized without Jordan Travis, Florida State, despite beating Florida, despite winning the ACC championship, they knew that was not going to be a team that would arguably compete with the elites. Now, Florida State fans said, give us a fighting chance. In the days of the BCS, it would have been fine, but not with the college football playoff because they're trying to give you the best in this case now 8 or what have you, 6 TV shows. So
right.
it's a shame, but I think it's your point. There is a precedent. Ole Miss is not the same without Lane Kiffin calling the shots.
All right, more on this today. Connor Riley's going to stop by to talk about the Dogs and, of course, Georgia Tech, the big rivalry game that's happening on Friday down at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Make sure you tune in today at 2 on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. We're live at Flowery Branch. What the hell happened to the Hawks last night, guys? Like, I looked at the score, and I thought it was like a misprint, like somebody's playing with me. What happened?
Yeah, I saw it last night, guys. Lauren and Day. I saw it. Yeah, his name was it. Didn't play defense. That's a 1-in-15 going into that game, Wizards team.
Yeah.
Horrible. I mean, look, I had Bullets tickets when they were even worse. I mean, this seems even worse than that team I had tickets for in the early 90s. But yeah, I would say that this is classic NBA regular season, where it's like, I think we're going to take this night off. Steve Koonin will be so upset, guys. There was not energy for the in-season tournament. Correct me if I'm wrong, Oren. That's 2 losses in the in-season tournament.
2 losses, and last night they had a very long shot. They would have had to win last night. They would have had to beat Cleveland over the weekend, and then would have had to hope that Toronto slips up somewhere, or you're playing for one of those at-large berths due to point differential. So the deck was stacked not in the Hawks' favor last night, and it just goes to show you too. Wizards last night with 13, 14 losses in a row. No wins at home.
Yeah.
They still got NBA players. And CJ McCollum last night, it was funny working the game last night.
Basket was this big for him.
Boy, buddy. It was you hearing them read off like, oh, yeah, CJ McCollum is shooting this low from 3. This guy's shooting this low from 3. And I'm like, well, hey, don't let tonight be that breakout night. But it's just bad defense, a combination of bad defense and just a lack of desire to play in that game last night. And McCollum went off for, 46? So if you don't show up, even a lowly team like the Washington Wizards can beat you by almost 30.
Yeah, 132, 112, 113 was the final score. And it was just one of those. And here's the crazy thing. If you were a bettor and you said, hey, Hawks are 8-3 without Trey, man, Jalen Johnson, player of the week.
They have one of the best records on the road in the NBA this year.
And you're 10 and a half, 11-point favorite last night. What a debacle. So we'll see what happens as we move forward. We know every team has one of these in the NBA. Mike's right. So we'll see. That's not the defining moment, but it was ugly based on where you've been and if you're trying to really build. Like, I'm watching this Detroit team. They're taking no nights off. OKC, no nights off.
No nights off.
This is where we are. This is
Nuggets,
who we are.
No nights off, yeah.
Correct. So this was one of those where you go, all right, we might be good, but are we truly ready? All right, man. We're headed to Flowery today. Here's the big topic. What do we need to know from Rob? What do we need to get from Rob? And Dede, I'm gonna start with you. Tell Mike and I what you think we need to hear from Rob. Then you answered, and then Mike and I will go in. What do you think?
Yeah.
Honestly, why they didn't go with what Kirk Cousins was comfortable with last year.
Okay.
Why was if that was their reasoning for it this past Sunday, why didn't they have that mindset last year? Why was he in the pistol so much? What was the reasoning for that?
Right.
If you say what's the exact words called? You got to go with what your quarterback is comfortable
you do
with.
what the quarterback can do.
Right.
So if that was the case, was it Kirk Cousins saying, "Oh, no problem, I can operate out of anything," or or did you guys just really say, "No, this is what we want to do, Kurt," and it's very confusing, baffling. Maybe is the better word. It's very baffling to hear him say that, but then look back and reflect on last year and say, well, if that was the case, you saw things weren't going well with him in the pistol. Why didn't you switch up and move him under center?
Okay, fair. And we'll ask it. Oh, what do you need to hear from Raw? What do you need to know?
Why does it look both bad and good with those two quarterbacks and the play that they've had this year and the formations and all that stuff? Like, talking about you do what the quarterback can do. All right, well, Penix has been in the pistol for the majority of the year. Hasn't looked great all the time with him in the pistol, but you stayed with that the majority of this year. Is that because there is no reason for him to go under center? Can he not do things in the center? We heard analysts and former players talk about how things were predictable with the pistol early this year. You could follow motion and you could follow the direction the play was going to go. You knew where it was going based on, just keys and reads and motions and things like that. So everything became pretty predictable. And you saw Cousins out there on Sunday, and it didn't look all that predictable. The play action pass, something that Kirk's been doing pretty much his entire career. It looked great, but he was under center. So why does it look so good with one under center? And why does it look so blah with one not under center playing? Like, if it's truly about what they do well and putting them in the positions where they do well, why does it not look as good in the pistol for Mike as it does for Kirk under center?
Fair. We will ask it. Mike, what do you need to know from Ron?
Yeah, I mean, just to double down on what Oren was saying along with Day. I mean, Kirk Cousins, remember the first week against Pittsburgh? We just thought, okay, this is last year I'm talking about. We're like, okay, maybe because of the Achilles, they don't have him under center. We're like, this looks so screwed up. I don't like the pistol. I understand the Rams have success with it. I don't know if that's because this is a first-year offensive coordinator, and now it was second year. And then Zach, and look, if we get there to Flowery on day before Thanksgiving and make it on time, hopefully we can ask Zach some questions along with the Atlanta media. The media may ask the question, but exactly right. Why didn't you have Kirk in his comfort level? And then conversely, now we won't get a straight answer. We'll ask the question. Was the coaching staff miffed at how Kirk handled the offseason by saying that, no, I was in fact injured after saying I was not injured? And did that somehow make you pivot to Mike? And now Mike's maybe still not ready at age 25. And you're also not pivoting and helping Mike in some things that maybe he needs to have some tough love. He needs to learn to be under center in the NFL.
We will ask it. I want to know who has the final say when it comes to putting in these game plans, and how much input do these quarterbacks have on a week-to-week basis? Because is this just cookie cutter? This is what we do. This is how we do it. Insert quarterback. Or is this, hey, Cousins, good to see you again. What do you want to do this week? Hey, Mike, you're back. How do you feel about what we're doing? What do you want to do this week? Because I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if this is all Zach or if this is more Cousins, because it feels that way. And he had input this last week, which is that's the case. Is that the situation with our guy Penix? We'll ask that as well. We're trying to find out to get to the bottom of all of this, guys. And here's the deal. If this offense looks like crap this week and they regress, we're right back to the same conversation that we've been having, okay? But if it doesn't, then what does that say? And again, as this goes on,
right.
and I want to win. I'm tired of losing, Mike. I'd love for us to win out. I had a friend of mine hit me up and go, went out my ass last night because he heard us at the end of the show. It's hard to believe. But if we were, what would that say? So there are questions. Hopefully we get some answers today. But we got a lot to talk about with Raheem Morris. And again, we will have our player segment, guys. It is the Jets. There are some very interesting games because it's Thanksgiving weekend, obviously in the NFL. We got big college rivalry games. Our game, not so much, right? I mean, it's the Jets. It's not going to be the most viewed game. They're talking about Kansas City, Dallas maybe being the most viewed game on Thanksgiving because of Mahomes, and it's the Cowboys, and the Cowboys come back to win last week. So there's a lot of buzz there, which is great. I want Thanksgiving to be interesting. The Lions game is going to be good because the Lions are finally good on Thanksgiving for years.
Yeah, Ravens and Bengals, both of them fighting for playoff spots
Bengals
right
and
now.
Ravens, yeah.
At that night, I mean, so it's a full three games of really good football on Thanksgiving, and then we get into the college stuff on Friday, Saturday. All right, man, we'll talk dogs today as well. You like the dogs, right, Mike? I do. You like the dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of folks felt that, look, I think Tech was very much embarrassed, and because it was embarrassing. And look, we've talked about it for weeks. Haynes King, you need him to be Superman like every game. It just has to happen. And he just had a bad couple of quarters to start that game by his obviously lofty standards that we think are Heisman worthy. And of course that goes out the window. So I think, look, it's still a rivalry game. Brent's going to have these guys fired up. And I think maybe not like last year where they go to the 8 overtimes and all that. I think maybe like 2 years ago where Tech hangs for the first half and then Georgia just kind of takes care of business in the second half and wins by more than 10 points.
Yeah.
So
Vegas is thinking like you, Mike, because right now Georgia's a 13.5 favorite.
And then if this was at Bobby Dodd, a little bit different animal, it's a Mercedes-Benz. I think there'll be a lot of Georgia fans there. We know that. And this, unfortunately for Georgia Tech, some of these upperclassmen, last game in Atlanta is not at Bobby Dodd.
13. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably the overreaction to you seeing what happened against Pitt, and then the betting public says, okay, Tech is washed. That defense can't stop anybody.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. All right, man. We'll find out what Connor Riley. Who else we got today, Day that's coming on the show?
We got Wes Durham joining us.
Wes Durham.
Okay, awesome.
And then,
man.
Of course, Ryan, our player.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy show. Again, if you're on the roads, man, be safe. And we wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Obviously, we are off from doing this, which is our behind-the-scenes show, until Monday. And we will be off the show itself because we got a lot of football to watch and enjoy friends and family over the weekend, man. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you guys. We love you.
And Carl, let me just echo as Carl started the segment. As Carl said, man, without you, there is no us. We're very thankful we get to have one of the coolest jobs in the world, talking sports with the best audience. And we love seeing you guys out on the remotes and, just the feedback we get on, online and everything else. So have a great Thanksgiving to you and your family.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys at 2 today. Be there.
Peace.